It's immense, it's wrong, man. Wrong. There you go.
Gonna be Star.
No.
Oh my.
There you go. That looks good.
Can you zoom out at all?
Huh?
Can it zoom out?
I don't know, you're asking for a lot of favors here now.
I didn't ask you to do it, I just said if we could.
Move it up, so you gotta go back down. There you go.
Good enough?
I'll move over a little bit.
There you
That's now moves the other way.
go. Yeah, he didn't want.
That was on purpose.
That table, you will need a trailer. It does not hold, they come on there, it's on the top of all one piece, but it's not connected. You can just lift it right up.
Okay, good, good.
And so I had all of that, and I'm like, I don't have a phone number. I'm home with me over the weekend.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, you hear, did you get the effect from engineering? Oh, it's more spots.
Yeah, I was just, actually, I'm not writing anything in, I was just waiting until she produces a new set of sheets.
I just did it all today, the last three.
Take one down, pass it around.
Like today with the stellar stuff.
I know. We're tag teaming it today.
Tracy, is that confidential or can we perusal that?
What?
Whatever pictures you
have
guys are looking at.
Oh, I think she said just take them and pass them around, or take one
Yeah,
down
we
and
have
pass it around.
Yeah, I just want, I don't want to keep it, I just want to look at it.
Yeah, that's.
I just wanted to, they're looking at stuff and I just want to kind of see what they're looking at.
So this is the old layout, this is the new layout, go through there, so. That's it. Okay. Or, well, you gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta make it so there, you gotta have the right size requirements, the ADA, the ADA.
Oh, no, I never.
You have the.
Which one? And,
We ready to roll?
Getting pictures.
Oh, read more.
Well, I think it's just to the flag. I mean, that's a state of America. You republic, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Angelina.
Okay. Did everyone get to look at the minutes on the last meeting? Or online?
Yep.
Any discussion? Is there a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from last meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And now we have Christina, is that your name?
yeah, Krista.
Krista from Troyer Group.
Hi, so I'm Krista from Schreier Group. I'm a landscape architect working on the implementation of the beach house improvements, as well as some of the other site improvements that we've garnered as priorities. This is through a grant that Starke County is matching. And with that money, we have certain things that we have to implement as part of that grant support. And so that's why some things for people who are new, some things might look a little distorted on what our improvements are. But so we wanted to come to the board today to present an update of where we are. We met in February with the design committee for the beach house master plan to review some of the more specific items. And that is what we are presenting today. On the first sheet, it's just to kind of give you an orientation of where these items are. And if we look at the beach house particularly, that's where we've added accessible parking as well as accessible routes to the beach house. And we do that with concrete, especially in a gravel and sand environment. So we didn't have any material on the ground that was considered accessible, so we had to do it with concrete. If you look at the upper left-hand corner, that's an indication of what it will end up looking like. So we plan to only implement as much concrete as we need. We had to reorient the parking a little bit to allow the proper distances for backing up. With a 20-foot parking on either side of the aisle at a 90-degree, we need at least 24 feet for backing out safely, and we did not have that prior. So in order to not have to redo the entire parking lot, we kind of just bumped the handicap spots up towards the beach house a little bit. So that's why that looks a little weird, to give us the proper space. So we just left the rest of the parking the way it was. And then in those areas, you can see just to the left and the right of those handicap spaces, a really light line. That is the extent of where we plan to regrade the gravel that's there to restore it and to make it flush with new concrete. And then we anticipate to leave the rest of the gravel the way it is. Now the handicap walks, we are going specifically from the handicap spaces and moving towards the building. We made this route to avoid some of the nicer trees that are currently there to save those, as well as to connect to the main entrance, which will be a nice new gently sloped sidewalk up to the entrance and the threshold of the beach house. There won't be a step up anymore. That will also help with drainage. And then we're also connecting to the existing outside kind of promenade veranda. So all of that will be accessible now. And then if we move, I'm gonna say south. The Beach Gatehouse is getting, new mechanical upgrades, window replacement and siding, fixes. So we're not replacing the siding, we're gonna, replacing kind of what's there and what needs to be. And then for the campground gatehouse, it's basically the same thing, upgrade to the mechanical and the electrical systems. And making sure that the envelope of the building is intact and all consistent. Now, the playgrounds, we're updating the playground on the beach area. And we'll look at that in more detail on the later pages, so we'll skip that for now. The beach restroom at the far northeast end is getting all new mechanical, electrical, and plumbing upgrades, as well as surfacing finishes upgrades with the proper spacing that we need for ADA. So that will be all updated. The outside of it isn't being touched per se. If windows need to be updated or restored, they are. Same thing with the campground restroom, all new MEP and finishes, upgrades. And again, if the windows or any of the siding needs to be improved, but it's brick, so we're pretty good there.
Right.
Yeah, so then the playground areas, we're upgrading those. So if you want to go ahead and switch, we'll look at the beach house first. This is the demolition plan to kind of give you an indication of how much removal we do need to do and what we plan to do. And all of the buildings are shown. So the entry gate for the beach, the entry gate for the campground, as well as both restroom buildings. So those are the items in red that we're taking out. And then if you go to the next sheet, you'll see the proposed floor plans with the upgrades and the ADA accommodations. So what we're doing to the main lobby space of the beach house is to open that up, take away all of the extra framing and building and upgrades from the last couple of decades and bring it back to more original when it was built. We really want to brighten up that wood, not brighten it up, but clean it up. Make sure that it's shining and gleaming, keeping it wood, bringing in light fixtures and fans that are appropriate to the size and space and the volume, upgrading the surfaces in the bathrooms. We're putting an office at the back corner. You can see next to the patio, that's just for when the beach house is open. There's a place for any kind of staff to be. We have a lot of weird kind of storage configurations, but again, it's just to make sure that we can accommodate what we do need, and then the leftover space, I guess you could say, is the storage area. We tried to make as much sense as possible. We had to switch the women's restroom to the opposite side because we needed more room for that. So we had it over there and switched the men's over to the other side. We're also restoring some of the windows and replacing doors where they used to be. Off the back patio, we're taking out those replacement windows and the infill siding that was put in the 70s. And we're going to replace it back with rebuilt windows that match what's existing there. I don't want to say original because that was all added in the 70s, but a more rustic kind of consistent design. So there's that. And then if we go to the playground area, the goal of this is to make it as exciting as possible, spend as little money as possible, and to offer as much play value. And when we say play value, what we mean is how many kids can we get on this thing where they're having a great time and they don't want to leave. So when you have typical like deck and steps kind of platforms and decks kind of structures, really a lot of those can only be used for one kid at a time. You know, you might have a lot of kids running around on it, but the things. So we like to try other kinds of equipment where you get on different climbers, different access points, things that offer a little bit more risk value, like a higher tower, that sort of thing. So in the campground area, we put a pre-configured piece of equipment from Landscape Structures. Pre-configured means it's been used somewhere else, and so we already know the cost of it, and it's cheaper when it's not custom. And then we're incorporating a 3-bay swing set. At the design meeting, we decided the middle bay that has that kind of, it's a swing where you can sit and you can have your kids sitting towards you. we decided to eliminate that and just put 2 more belt seats there. So we still will have the accessible swing seats at the end, but we'll have 5 belt seats total. And then the shape of the playground, if you can see that really light line around the pieces of equipment, those are the safety use zones. And we have to have accessible safety surfacing within those areas. And that stuff's expensive, so we don't want a lot of extra. So we form the shape of the play area around that to fit. So that's why that's shaped the way it is. Then the concrete coming off of the road is our accessible route to the playground. And then if we go over to the beach area, it's right up next to that little wooded area. So we thought it would be a really nice little picnic spot for if your kids are playing. You can sit and watch them play. There's a garbage can. We can't go too far away from the parking area, obviously, because the lake is there. So we're not farther out than it is right now, as close to the lake as it is. So we felt that was safe to go that far. But it will be in the wood fiber area will be enclosed with a concrete curb. And then the concrete sidewalk with the picnic tables. That will be your accessible route into the playground. We propose having those little dots between the playground and the parking lot. I propose those to be bollards because there's no way to stop people. So if you're parking and you happen to go too far, you're gonna hit a bollard and not a child. So that's the goal there. The point of this structure, I wanted to add a couple of the spring riders that are like dolphins facing out into the water. You know, I try to come up with some kind of a theme. Going with the powder blue, and I would propose that those posts be a different color than brown, maybe white or pearl, make it look like a beachy lake. And then I liked the fact that this thing in the middle is a 10-foot tower. And so the kids can, if you see where it's positioned, to get on top of that and look out over the lake, I just thought that'd be phenomenal. And it also comes with a little hammock, you know, the kids can just be relaxing. Teenagers would want to hang out on this. So hopefully it's attractive to a lot of people. So there we go. Questions? Yes.
You said you've looked at these pieces of equipment at other sites already.
I have not seen them in person, but they
Okay.
have been installed.
Do you
at
have
other
prices
sites.
of this equipment?
We do, yes. Oh, okay, so.
Give us an idea
Yes.
what we're talking about.
Well, the total cost for both playgrounds is 180,000 is what we have budgeted for it. Our wood fiber and our minimal excavating, some drainage layer underneath the wood fiber and the concrete curbing runs about 30,000 for both playgrounds. And then the equipment, the one out on the beach is around $70,000. And then the little spring riders about $1,200 each. And then the equipment at the campground, the swings are just over 6,200, and the piece of equipment is around 57,000.
Can you go into a little detail about what all improvements are gonna be in the campground bathroom?
Okay, all new, so let's go ahead to that page. It's if you can see the C4, yeah, we're taking out all of the existing panels and divisions between the stall and the showers. And when we do that, we end up with all new stall separations, all new sinks and counters, all new fixtures, plumbing fixtures. The wall board is gonna be that textured plastic stuff that is in there now. It's just gonna be updated, and then the flooring will be updated.
Does that include like the hot water heater? That kind of
Yes,
stuff?
all new plumbing, all new
new-
electrical, everything is being gutted except for anything that's brick or holding up the building.
Okay.
Yes,
What will the plumbing, what will be the water line? What is the material? Copper, plastic? What?
that I don't know yet. We haven't gotten that designed far. I'm sure it'll be probably a combination of both. But I'm not that mechanical designer, so the plumbing designer. It will be the code, how's that?
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Will they be using tankless water heaters?
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a federal grant. We have to go by their rules. We can't just say, you
Right.
do this, you do that.
Right,
I mean, you know.
Mhm.
We don't know what the rules are.
No,
Yeah, we haven't done our construction documents yet, so
and we
that's,
haven't gotten,
We don't have the grant, so
well,
we
we
can't,
haven't gotten the federal approval.
we
yet.
can't
right,
go
no.
And then we
real far
haven't
yet.
actually gone out for
Right.
bids or anything.
I don't
on
think.
it yet.
No, so this is where we're at, is still is towards the end of design, so now we'll move into. The construction documents, and that's where we'll get all to the nitty gritty, the size of the lines and the type of fixtures and the lighting and all of that. And then, we're hoping to get our approval. By the 1st of June from the National Historic Preservation Group. And after we get that approval, we will be ready to go out to bid at that point, because from here on out, now we're developing the construction documents, the specifications, the front end documents. The schedule will have a completed estimate.
Is that the time that we also start planning on? When we put out the bids, when the construction would actually occur and kind of
Yes.
planning for that?
Yes, a construction schedule will be a part of, it will be approved by you.
Okay.
And then it will be a part of the bid documents that they have to follow the schedule.
Okay.
We tell them what the schedule is.
The playground, what's the material?
It is engineered wood fiber on the ground.
Engineered wood fiber,
Yes.
loose or solid?
It's loose.
Loose.
It is the most inexpensive ADA accessible and approved safety surfacing available.
And what keeps it contained?
Contain a concrete curb that is sunk into the ground. 18 inches deep. And the wood fiber is 8 inches deep with a 4 to 6 inch layer of drainage stone underneath with an under drain.
Anyone have any other questions?
Handicap, I'm getting 6, 7,
We have 6,
okay,
6 at the beach house.
okay, so there's like 4 on the right and 2 on the left,
Yes,
okay.
Do we have any down by the bathrooms at the other end of the beach? We
I believe there are a couple designated,
handicaps as well?
yes. But that hasn't been done, indicated as a priority or a part of what the grant would need, we're trying to do.
Okay, so
I don't wanna say the minimal, but trying to make our money go far.
that pad and that sidewalk are at this point not included in this project.
For the handicap parking right here at the beach house.
No, at campground, because that
Oh, no, I was talking about the beach, the bathroom down for.
Oh,
Yeah,
farther now.
Yeah, the
Okay.
campground's already been completely updated with ADA accessibility on the outside.
Okay.
So with those
Yeah.
walks going from the handicap. Campsites that are seasonal, those are considered your handicap camping sites, and so then the accessibility is for
I
those
was talking
sites.
about would be, I guess, if you're looking north from the lake to the southeast corner of that is broken up and the sidewalk is heaving and there's some issues there.
At
That's
the
why,
campground one?
yes.
Oh, okay, cause that was fairly new when we were out here last.
No,
year
it's
looking
been
at
there
it.
for 3 years or so. It just keeps getting, I
Okay,
don't know
well,
what what they call that, the freeze and thaw of the ground. It keeps moving, so.
okay.
It's not
well,
getting any
We
better.
can take a look at that. It wasn't as part of the grant. However, if there is an accessible route to the bathroom already, then that doesn't need to be upgraded to be an accessible route. That part that's
You
broken,
know, you got 4 corners coming in
yeah,
that southeast corner is definitely got some issues, especially if it rains. It floods right there.
yeah.
So are there any plans then to touch anything on the beach bathroom that's at the north end?
Yes, that is part of our restrooms A4 on the 3rd sheet.
It's all getting redone at the
Yeah.
beach side
So,
too.
and that's pretty level there, you just kind of walk right in, so there's.
Yeah,
There's as much of an issue there, it's really.
there's a sidewalk on the men's side. of it.
Which one of the bathrooms was it? You were talking about switching the men's around with the women's.
That's at the
That's-
beach house,
Pavilion.
at the pavilion.
Yeah, the beach.
So you on A3,
Yes, on A3, you can see we've got it labeled as men's restroom where the women's is now.
Okay,
And then the women's restroom removed to the men's area because they had more room.
now, okay,
Does the ADA stall?
What's the anticipated start date?
Well, if we go out to bid in June, our start date would be probably, mid to late August. So give them a month to bid it and then a month to get the contracts in order. So maybe end of August versus September.
Has any priority work been established as far as what they're gonna tackle towards the beach house or
Oh, no.
no?
Is there an estimated amount of time this is going to take? From start to finish?
I think we're thinking a year. We are doing this so the restrooms are done in the winter. And that all the site work will be done as soon as possible. And part of what they have to do is provide us with a logistics plan that shows us how they're going to enclose the construction area, still allow movement around wherever people need to be and make it safe and locked up.
So they'll be able to work while it's open.
Exactly.
My theory is, yeah, once the campground closes, everybody's out, they can do that between closing and opening.
Mhm.
Cause that would be most important while there's no one there and they're
Right.
closed.
Right.
Beach house, it's not open anyway, so if they
That
can
makes
block
sense.
that off and be
That's what I
safe,
figured I'd
we can
ask
do
them.
that during open
Priority of
season,
work.
cause we're not using it
Yeah,
anyway.
they can use it as much as they want. 'cause it's-
Right, and
Right.
especially inside, if they're doing a lot of, mostly inside work at that time.
I figured that's why they could do the beach house before anything else.
Well,
Without
the
interfering.
beach house is gonna take the longest, so it will be worked on from start to finish. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
So when will we see you guys next? When the construction documents get ready and.
Well, probably what we'll do is, at 90% construction documents. We will probably request a meeting with you to review them, or we can send them to you and you can mark them up and send them back to us, whichever's easiest.
In person seems to work better, I think. but-
Yeah, well,
With
and
those
especially if you don't quite understand how to read documents,
Right.
and I'm not saying that you
Questions.
don't, but some people just don't. And so it's better if we're there to answer questions or.
Nothing lost in translation.
No, and provide you with it ahead of time so you can review it, and then when we meet, you got your questions. Yeah, that's our plan.
Great.
But it won't go out to bid until you've definitely approved it and reviewed it all.
Okay, anything else?
Very good.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
For clearing our schools.
I'll get with you on that.
Okay. Okay, so these are very preliminary, so if they go out to the public, please make sure that it's very clear. Oh, okay.
Take it for the council, yeah, the council or somebody else.
No,
that
it's
might-
taken with everybody else. All right, thank you, guys. Okay.
Thanks, Krista.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is volleyball installation on beach discussion.
I have somebody that has a volleyball net, the big poles, was willing to put them in at the beach, concrete them in, put everything together, blah, blah, blah. Asked if I would present it to the board. I said that I would. So I presented it to the board. I just don't know with the new playground and I don't know what to think on that is, because everybody parks there, is that a liability that the ball hits car, busts the windshield? I just don't know, but I said I would bring it up, so that's.
Where on the beach are they proposing?
In the sand.
Well, I know, but
Sand.
there's a lot of-
Well, that would be for us to decide, but still, that's all parking along there, so. I don't know if that's an issue.
So we're talking about
takes up a lot of room.
permit?
It does, yeah,
Talking about permit.
yeah.
submitting and
Maybe we ought to wait until we get all this construction done.
Well, yeah, it might be a little premature.
Well, it takes, yeah, like you said, it takes a lot of room for a volleyball court.
Yeah.
Something I would.
The ball,
think
it's
Yeah.
in the
like
head
consider
and,
making
you know, I know.
these
I mean, it's,
Poles,
don't get me wrong, I played beach volleyball all the time.
like
Right.
I've seen before, where they put them
I
in
like
big
Michigan.
steel tires with concrete. and
have
make them so they can
All
roll
the
them out,
equipment
there's
for it, you know,
nets
'cause we
up.
used to have the one in the tent area,
Like
but
you had a tournament.
that's
or
not
something.
feasible either with
That's-
everybody tenting there. We just need more room.
Well, I think that's something we can.
Well, maybe, yeah, after the construction and everything.
Are they up wherever they're at? Are they gonna have to remove them?
No,
wherever
they
them?
haven't done, no, they
They-
haven't done anything yet.
No, I mean, the people who are talking about donating, do they have them installed at their location?
I don't
No.
think so. I think they were
They're
just, yeah,
They're just portable.
yeah.
Okay. Picnic table purchase.
So this kind of. Not sure how to go about all of this. So between the agenda going out and today, we've had some other things come up, this insurance issue. Did you get the email?
Yeah.
We were allotted, and I'm gonna throw this in there, in my budget last year. The insurance last year for the park campground, everything was, what'd I say, 24, 23, wherever that's at. And this year they have changed it. And broke it all down to each, I guess, department's individual, and we're gonna be well over $10,000 now for insurance.
And we only budgeted 5.
And I only budgeted 5 because this was just thrown at me just now. Last week. Instead of, they were just charging 1% to us of the entire, I guess, county bill. And now they have had the insurance company break it all up into each individual. So it came to 9,690. And it still has to be added on there. The property insurance is not on there yet. They didn't have the quote for that yet.
So how is this insurance purchased by the,
It comes out of our budget,
Liability.
liability.
I mean,
By the county.
do we purchase it or do the commissioners get
The
it?
county just does it and takes it out of our budget.
So we really don't have any choice in,
No, and the changes though, to me, my question is.
We went from
we
2,300
budgeted-
to over
Well,
10,000.
yeah, we budgeted. Correctly. From what it was last year, but somehow this year, Rachel. Inquired, they dug a little deeper into the insurance and started breaking it out, and now it's starting to look like. We owe more, but to me, that kind of change should be done at budget time, not. Not mid-year.
yeah, right? Or they just should give us the money.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing,
Well,
you know,
since
they
all
want us to
other
pay
money
for the
goes to
pump,
the
they want us to pay for this now. We're right back to where we were last year with no money. To repair a roof, to get picnic tables, it's just, and we're barely even open yet, And I know we still have peer money and everything coming in, but that doesn't matter because we have a budget and that's all we can spend. If we make 60 or 80,000 over budget, we still don't get to spend that this year. So, I still only have that one amount. So in all of that, just so you know, that's gonna be another expense, which I think,
That's one of those expenses I think that the council's gonna have to pick up.
well, then, you guys go to the
Sorry,
council
they won't
meeting
let us keep
because
the money that we bring in, so. Can't use it.
Yeah,
You can't make them do what.
At the very least, we can maybe suggest to them that whatever these increases
said
are,
something
we
I
don't
don't
until next
understand.
year.
It was my understanding previous years that our budget was what we took in. You're telling me.
the year before,
No, not what we took in, what they took out for liability insurance.
no, he's talking
I'm
about the
not
whole
talking
budget.
I'm talking about our budget. When we first started, I was told whatever we brought in, that was our budget.
Right, but that was decided
Well,
last year.
Yeah, not quite. I mean, the budget,
That's what we were told.
Well, we
well,
didn't bring in that much last year,
I
but they
know.
gave us the same budget,
What do you mean they gave us the same budget?
the same amount as last year that we were budgeted, the 243 or whatever it
Okay,
was.
so if we bring in more than 243,
That goes to the
it
general
goes to the
fund.
general fund.
well,
But
it goes
that's
to the-
not-
no, it goes to the carryover.
Or we can make our budget bigger next year.
Right.
We can go to the council and
Right. And,
request a larger budget next year.
right, and my understanding is we don't lose that money. It goes into the carryover for next year, so that you, as you're taking money out of each of these budget items, it's coming out of there. It's not like it evaporates.
Well, I just wondered.
Government money always disappears.
Yeah. But
Money
that
wasted.
cash money never.
Well, I mean, to me, it's saying,
Okay, we're back to picnic table.
So in saying that, that's gonna be an extra 10-15,000,
What,
I-
the insurance?
the
Yeah,
insurance.
okay.
I think I can take care of it because the 5,000 that's in
liability.
liability, I have 15,000 in service contract. Which the only thing now that the grant, the county is paying for Troyer. That was budgeted for Troyer also along with the county attorney retainer fee. So I think we can take the remaining out of the service fee, still be able to pay the attorney. I think we'll be okay there. It won't be coming out of like repair and maintenance or equipment, where we need that. So I think it was just kind of a shock to me, when it went 5 times higher. So anyway, back to those picnic tables.
Yes,
We do need picnic tables. The place downstate that used to build them doesn't do them anymore, so I'm still in the process of looking at that. And another thought is, the Northern Indiana Community Foundation is doing their grants again right now. Even if, say, we can get another grant for 2,000 or 3,000 and then we match 2,000 or 3,000 out of our budget. 6,000 will get us, we're not gonna be able to get 70 picnic tables in 1 year.
Right.
If we can get 10 or 12 at a whack or something, maybe we can go about it that way. Unless Gary wants to build them.
Well, no, here's the thing though. The county jail has a huge woodworking department.
Here,
Yes.
I don't like their work. I'm sorry to
that's
say
fine.
that. The picnic table right out here is
I
their
didn't
work.
know there wasn't, but I know they have a big woodworking department.
The only way that you would be able to get anything out of them, in my estimation. You take the picnic table that you want duplicated, you don't let them
Make with them.
engineer nothing.
Copy.
You bring in, say, here's what we want these.
I guess
That's the only way, because if you let them do it. There's no engineers out
Should
there.
Well, I
rephrase that,
understand
but
that, but I thought maybe kits. I don't know if you save any money on kits.
And with a kit, how durable are they?
I don't know. I have never looked into them to see.
I
haven't
looked at
either.
the metal legs and then you buy the wood. And that's more expensive
Oh, yeah.
than, they would be less weight, but. The metal legs alone are like $200. And then the wood,
didn't the prison used to build?
they don't do that
They don't do
anymore,
it.
the one down south.
Really?
They have a new company that does do it, not affiliated with them, but they don't deliver or anything. They deliver to the closest facility, which would basically be Westville, so somebody'd have to go get them.
Got an idea, maybe. Would the school? Do you think if we provided them the cost of everything, do you think maybe they're
Well,
They can
they're
make
gonna be
that
out of
planned
school.
project?
Yeah, I don't know.
Cause if they all got together and started making that stuff, it wouldn't take them long.
Would we have a wood shop at this school?
Yes,
I'm not sure that, you might check with the school.
Can do that,
How many tables do we need,
all of them.
yeah.
I'm very serious.
That doesn't
Oh
tell
my
me
gosh, what do
much.
you think?
Well,
50, 60, no, there's 60 campsites. And then probably
there's probably 40 across
30, 40 across the street,
the
100.
beach, so,
Really that many?
yeah.
What are you looking to make them out of?
Just pine, you can't use treated lumber for public
Oh,
picnic
no?
tables due to eating off of those.
Can we paint them?
Yes,
Well, stain them and paint them,
right?
seal them.
Ours is.
They'll be good for 3 years.
Just folds up.
And then it's gonna be soaked and.
I really
rust
think
away.
pretty recent.
3 years is better than no years.
But like I said, maybe we can get a few at a time.
Oh, sure. Well,
So
we'll have to, sure.
on that, and this is another thing that just came up since we had all the rain that we didn't get on the agenda. The wooden fence that is on the campground side, it's just a little picket fence, is basically a third of it is laying in the ditch. It has been repaired so many times, it is a mess. And it looks very, very bad. So I priced out vinyl. And it's gonna be right between $5,000 and $6,000. It's 488 feet. I priced out wood, and by the time you buy all the paint and pay the labor to paint it through help, you're about at the same price.
Does that include installation or is that just?
We have volunteers that are gonna do the installation, yes.
Good.
And where I priced it from is Menards, because that's where we have an account. You know, I can't just go out and, if I go to a company, you know, then they're gonna, you know, the installation and everything, but we would do that ourselves.
What is that, about 2.5 feet tall? Or she's like that?
3 or 4, I think they sell 4. So if I get it all together, I'm just asking if we wanna do that.
Which item would that come out of? Is that out of?
Repair or maintenance or equipment, one or the other.
And we got the money to do that. And we're okay with anything else we got planned. It's not gonna.
I haven't planned any of it.
Well, then, I guess we have.
I didn't plan on $12,000 pump either.
We just have to take that into consideration if there's anything else coming up. So that's all I'd ask you to do, and maybe look at what else is coming up and make sure it doesn't show.
Well, I feel we survived last year and we paid for that lift station and Troyer, you know, for 50-some $1,000. So, you know, of course, right now we're already using 12,000 for the pump and 10 or 15 for the insurance, but that's still a long way from the 58,000 that we spent last year, and we made it. I mean, I'm not gonna go out and spend money on nothing, but it just really, really looks tacky.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's laying in the ditch and it's been rebuilt so many times, it's floating.
Floating.
Is there any thoughts of repairing the chain link at the south end?
Well, we gotta start with baby steps.
Well, that's what I'm asking, is there any thought on it? And repair it, say replace.
Well, I guess maybe the one laying down in the ditch is probably the first one to look at.
Larry Wickert's supposed to be working on the chain link one with the solar company, a new solar company that's coming in. I have not heard from him lately, so he told me he'd get with me as soon as he heard anything.
Because I get a lot of people that say how bad it looks there,
It
you know,
does look
Well,
bad.
it does.
so.
Yeah, that is. If we can get it replaced at a reasonable amount or
So
solar does it, that'd be.
the, I guess I probably need a motion because that's over $2,000 I'm spending, right?
I prefer the vinyl myself.
Me too, because you're never gonna have to do anything to it again, you know, that's the thing with that, just like Sam was saying. The
What
metal
was your
roof.
estimate on the cost up to?
Well, I just did a plan, I'm saying between 5,000 and 6,000, I did a plan thing on Menards. But I will go in and talk to them for sure,
So if we had a motion.
cause that's gonna be the 4x4s, the panels, you know,
Right, so if we had a motion up to 6,000, that would be enough.
I hope so,
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna get as cheap as I can,
Right.
you know, I'm not gonna.
that's why I said up to.
Yeah, well, somebody make a motion not to exceed
Right.
6,000 for the replacing the fence.
I would make a motion that we replace the fence that is currently laying in the ditch with a vinyl fence to be installed by volunteers, and the total cost not to exceed 6,000.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All
That
in
mean I
favor?
can just go to Menards Plus?
Aye.
If it's more, you mean?
Yeah.
Save that rebate money.
Okay, superintendent's report.
So just some things we've been doing, they did get the tree stumps removed, within, I think a week's time. We had to wait for the 811 to come out and do some marking and stuff. And then when they got done, he wanted me to go out and inspect them, and that's when it was started all that rain, and half of them are still underwater. I can't even look at them, but I think they did a good job. They took their mess with them. I mean, we can rake out, throw some dirt on there and grass seed, and I think we'll be just good to go.
And I think it was a project that Sam,
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think they already presented me the bill and we paid it. It was like $12.50. So that's taken care of.
that was good.
For those of you that didn't hear, Steve Barrett did get the bid for the piers. He was lower than Les Jensen, so he will be getting the piers. We do have the contract and it states they could start on or before May 1st, completion May 22nd.
No later than May 22nd.
Correct.
You can stay.
Talked to Rachel at the highway department. They are still planning on paving both entrances, campground entrance and beach entrance. Weather permitting, they're underwater right now too. She's hoping first of summer. I mean, that it's very flooded out there. Very flooded. I did bring some stone. Did I say this last meeting? I don't think so. I did bring some stone into some of the campsites that had moved out. And that new people are coming in because people had taken their decks out and stuff and it was very muddy under there. They, it stated they had to be out by March 15th. The new ones come in by April 1st. There was no time to plant grass or anything. And so I did bring a little bit of stone and hopefully in the future, we can get other of the seasonal stone too, if we can do, a load at a time and do some of the worst ones first. The pump is on schedule for Thursday. It's supposed to rain all day, but I don't know that bothers them. I'd say they work in the rain, well drillers. So work with that and then we'll work on getting the water on. I'm hoping by beginning of next week, we can get the water on since the weather's been so nice. There's no reason, we changed all of the spigots. They were those old cheap plastic ones that rotted and froze, and so they're all brass now. So that got done before the water got turned on. Just stuff getting done.
Good.
Lots of sticks. We're getting those picked up where we can, where it's not wet. Of course, in the coming month or so, we'll get the porta potties and the dumpsters and all of that stuff lined up. The council wants us to get a cash register and a camera system and all of that, and I'll do all of that. I did have a camera crew call company. They did the highway department and stuff. And I mean, this is like a Walmart camera. I'm not gonna pay for that kind of, they want one outside and one on the cash register. Well, I can get that through Ring or something, I mean, this tells you what color eyes you have and a mile away, and we're only using it 3.5 months out of the year. So I don't foresee, he hasn't got back with me a quote, but I just, we're gonna have to do something a little cheaper. So that's about all I got, guys.
Okay. Financial report.
Just routine bills. Normal stuff. NIPSCO bill's still only $200 and some. Probably till the next one. Yeah, that'll be the last one for that. Paid for the stone, paid the tree cutter, but nothing out of the ordinary. Hopefully the IT guy is coming out Thursday too to mess with the internet. It's been sitting there for 5 months, so it just needs a reboot and some tweaking. So it worked for a little bit and then
So no big surprises coming.
not yet. It is Bass Lake Beach and Campground though.
Okay, any other business come before the board? Oh, wait a minute, approval of claims and payment of Jim bills, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we pay the claims and bills.
I second that. All in favor?
I,
And this sheet that I gave you guys was just to show where the different buckets that the money's coming into. A little up to date.
So is there been any progress on getting Carl's seat?
Not that I'm aware of.
What about Rick's?
Yeah, I've got a call right there, try to get him to do that. Just make a note, I'll do that tomorrow.
Can you hand me that paper so I don't lose it, please?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Rick. I did talk to Rachel and the Carl's appointment is the council.
But it could be either, right? Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And here's an odd thing, when Carl resigned from the board here, he also resigned from the Veterans Committee. The Veterans Committee is in charge of, they have a ceremony at Memorial, and they, on Memorial Day, they have a ceremony there at the Veterans Memorial, and then they have a parade, they go to the cemetery and they have a program there. So when he resigned from the park board, he sent me an email asking me if he was going to resign from the veterans thing, and he asked me if I'd take his place, and I said, yeah, sure. So we had a meeting last night, and guess what? Richard, another member, talked Carl into coming back on the veterans board, so now we're both. So we might talk to Carl about coming back on this board. I don't know what changed in his situation. I know he was having some health problems for a while, but
I thought he said he took on a couple more states.
well, he did.
And
He's doing a lot.
I mean, this is gonna probably take up more of his time than the veterans, you know.
Well, since it's a council appointment, could we ask maybe one of like Dave or somebody to
Well-
contact him and see if he'd be interested and come back down?
Yeah, I went through Rachel, so she was gonna talk to the council about it, so we'll see.
Right.
But, yeah. And I will call Rick, because I mean, he didn't do it, I forget. Any other business coming forward?
I just had a quick question. Tracy, you brought up the garage storage shed, you had some leakage and some other things. Was there any resolution to that? Did you guys get
That we-
repairs?
No, that we were gonna wait till the end of the year to see
Okay.
how much money we had left. It's just like in the one corner. That's gonna be, I think, a big expense, so we were just gonna wait closer to the end of the year to make
Yeah,
sure we don't have any big stuff coming up. Unless you're volunteering.
You don't have time to do
Man.
anything.
I was one to handle them there, I'll tell you that.
I have a question about the kayaks. Have we heard anything about the city working down here yet? Have they done?
Not the city, because, well, I've been talking to Bob Aloy with the county one, the English Lake, but not the
Okay.
city. There's some deficiency notice that has to be taken care of by May 4th, and he's in contact with. It's the flood plan people. Instead of like the waterway, which is what I deal with the piers and stuff.
The drainage board?
No, it's downstate, it's state. He's waiting on, in fact, we've been emailing all day with Kathy Norm also, because she's in on that too. Of what's going on with that. And he's waiting on a call from the flood plan people in Indianapolis, and also the guy from Stan Tech that did all of the stuff prior to it, the measuring. And I mean, they want, what they want is who owns that property, and I feel the DNR owns it. I mean, there's DNR signs all over it, plus they put that one ramp in. But that's where he's trying to get to the bottom of right now. They want ownership.
Well, I guess I just thought about,
I don't know what the city's doing, because we turned that and the money over to them.
well, that was the point. They made a big deal out of us giving them that one. I'd like to see something move forward on it.
Oh, for the city one.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't have.
I mean, they
anything-
pushed us to give it to them.
I think
and
that,
help
would-
and give money.
I don't know
So
if that would be the mayor you talked to or the city.
Yeah. Yeah,
But yes, definitely moving on the other one, I mean, as much as we can, and Kathy's on. The one at 23, that's gonna be a huge big expense. But she's gonna try to get, her and I, we're gonna try to work together and get some grants for that too.
yeah,
So,
that one's gonna be a lot of very expensive. I think they said 90,000.
100,000 now.
Well, the problem is, there's about 30-foot drop from the property down to the river, so it has a lot of reading.
Yeah, and all that money, I mean, nothing will ever, you're not getting your money back out of it. But
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just like to say, every year it gets better and better. Keep up the good work.
Well,
And
thank you.
after this meeting tonight, you guys don't know how happy you made my wife. When we took a ride around the lake today and she saw that fence over there. She said.
the one laying in the ditch,
Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. We're working on a grant, everything else. When she hears that they're gonna pass that, they'll put up a nice fence. She made her happy.
Good.
Don't forget, no, you
Yeah,
take the
glad to
credit,
hear it.
you tell her, you got the board to fix that.
Yeah.
You're being recorded, watch what you say.
yeah.
Okay, anything else? All right, I did entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm moving to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for coming.
My machine is off.
Be her one there all. I was telling, I argued with that more.